All right, so we're going to continue on with our little alarm that we have. And we got our medicine alarm, and we got as far as when we clicked the button, it sent us a toast. So that's all it did. We were playing with the toggle button here. So we have to create this alarm manager, which we started here, but it takes some interesting information that we have to have set up before we call this, before we set the alarm. And the alarm is a system level event that we register with the system. The system then keeps track of when to trigger that. When it triggers it, we have to, when we set the alarm, we told it what we want to have happen when that alarm happens. So the system makes a callback to whatever intent or activity we want to call. So we have to create what we call a pending intent. It's not an intent, it's something that's going to be triggered in the future. And we have to register that they call it a receiver, to allow that incoming event to happen. All right, so there's several things we have to do here. We first have to register the receiver and create the intents for passing information. All right, so our first thing is we have to create this register receiver. Sorry, there's another thing we have to do. I moved it. Well, we'll do it in a second. And that takes a broadcast receiver, which we haven't created yet. We'll create that in a second. We have to register that, and then we have to give it a filter so the system knows who to send this to. So there's this concept of an intent filter that is basically our URL to our application. All right, so that way they know, the system knows who to send that information to. All right, and we'll create this BR in a second. Then we have to create an intent. I'm going to call it alarm intent. Oh, does it automatically? Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't work. And then you see it all of a sudden. Yeah. All right, so we're creating new intents which are similar to what we do when we switch activities. All right, and there's lots of, I'm going to do that later. Then we need a pending intent that's based off of this intent. And there's lots of tutorials online about this kind of stuff. We pass the alarm intent, and then we tell it we need to cancel the current one. So in case we start another alarm and there's already one out there, this is going to cancel. The system will say, "Oh, cancel the old one and use this new one instead." So that's something we have to worry about when we create multiple alarms. Each alarm has to have a different value associated with it when we create it. All right, so then we have to create this PI and this BR. All right, so I have to declare this PI, and I was moving this around because I wanted to be able to pass information to this pending intent. I want to be able to pass the notes associated with this particular alarm so that when it comes up, when it finally gets fired, we can see take your specific drugs, take whatever that note was associated with that particular alarm, because you want to know what to do when that alarm comes up. Just alarm doesn't, wake up doesn't do anything. I need to say take your insulin now or some specific medicine. So I needed some way of so all I need to do is declare that. I need to declare my broadcast receiver so that I can fill those in later. And I also put my alarm manager in here. All right, so I've got those three. Oh, I do. I already did that yesterday. What are you doing? All right. So now in my Initialize app, I have to create this broadcast receiver. So inside here, I have to create this broadcast receiver. So I say set my BR to a new broadcast receiver object. And if I hit tab, IntelliJ fills out most of this for you, because all we need to do is override this onReceive method so that when the alarm happens, we need to be able to do something with that alarm and display the right information. So this is what happens when the system triggers the alarm. This is what's going to happen, this code inside of here. All right, so we're going to put in for now, we'll just do a toast it. And we will do something like wake up. And we'll add the notes later. All right. All right, we'll add the notes. We have to do some things to pass that notes all the way to the system so they can pass it all the way back to us. Because it's possible that our application might not even be running at that time. So it has to start up again, potentially. All right, so that's all. This is a new broadcast receiver. We're overriding this onReceive. And it's going to give us the intent that we pass to it. When we pass an intent to the system, they're going to send that back to us. So we can put information in there just like we did when we passed information from the BMI calculator to the logger, right? We put extra information into the intent so we could get it out again when they send it back to us. This is in my application, so it has to start my application to get to this. Yeah, there's no, yeah. It's not, I mean, it's got to start my application so I can even get to this method. All right. So now we've got a receiver. What will happen is when this alarm triggers, we should get a wake-up message. Okay, so it's going to come all the way back to this broadcast receiver. So to actually trigger the alarm, I'm going to do it inside of our toggle. So when we set the alarm, I already had this in here, I'm going to call this real-time clock, and I'm going to set it for 20 seconds in the future. Okay, so this actually triggers, sets an alarm with the system, notifies the system that this is the alarm manager we want. We've already set up our receiver and our intents that we're going to play with. So when that happens, the system waits 20 seconds and then calls my receiver method here, and it should do a wake-up call. Right? So from whenever time I hit my toggle button, it's going to be 20 seconds in the future for now. All right. So let's run that guy. do it in a specific time, we have to set a specific calendar time. So we'll do that. Yeah, actually, it's a little more. It's simpler. We can set up a calendar instance, set up all the year, date, minutes, hours, months, everything in the calendar. Then call the get millis on that, and that's the time in the future when it's going to trigger. So it's pretty simple. We'll do that in a minute. All right. So let's put some notes in here, even though we're not using them yet. If I turn it on now, it's going to do my wake up in 20 seconds. It should anyway. Unless I have a crash. Yep, might have a crash, maybe. I probably missed it. But I should have gotten this one right away. I should have gotten my alarm on at least. Yeah.
Change your time to like 5 seconds.
I should have gotten the wake up right away. I mean the alarm, toast it right away. Yeah, it took forever. Why is that so slow? As soon as I hit pause, it'll come up. Let's run it again, and I'll set it for 5 seconds in the future. These are milliseconds, so 5,000 is 5 seconds. But I should get this right away. So let's try it again. Make sure I'm not getting an error. Wow, it is very slow.
Those are just all the junk errors. Dictionary.
I'm going to clear them again. It did actually toggle it. So it says turn off now. Let's just wait. I don't think so. But yeah, even yesterday it took a long time to actually even show the toasted.
So is the alarm manager and the toasted off on 2 different threads?
No, that alarm manager just tells the operating system to set an alarm, and then it comes back right away. It's not. It doesn't have to wait for that. Yeah, we should be seeing it right away. Really? Somehow it's broken. So let's pause and figure this out. This is going to work. All right. So the problem was somehow my on-click to go to my toggle alarm got disabled. So we will turn it on. There you go. Alarm test. So that's my
First toast.
the first toast here, and then there's the second one, wake up. So the first one was just setting the alarm, and then when the system triggered the alarm, it came up to my broadcast receiver and said, wake up. So now, any questions on that? That's fairly simple, except this took a while to get all this worked out right. All right, so now that I have an intent, I can set some extra information in here so that I have to pass it to the system in the alarm so the system can pass it back to me in case my application is not running. And so I want to pass in the value of this alarm's text, right? So I want to say something like, let's get it. I'll call string, create a new variable, notes text, and it's going to be an edit text. I don't know why I was doing that. This is just going to be edt notes 1 dot get text dot get string, and this is edit notes 1. Edit notes 1. That's my edit text.
Doesn't think it's a string.
No, not get string. To string. All right. So then inside of my alarm intent, I can call that put extra. And this is the same thing we use to pass data between two activities. So I'm going to pass a key, we'll call it notes, and it's going to be my notes text. All right, we're going to send that along with information to the intent. And when the intent calls, now where do I get that out of there? Look at that. Built-in editing and spell checking in IntelliJ. Isn't that great? So inside of here, I get the intent when the system calls me. When Android OS calls me, I get the intent. This alarm intent is what I'm getting. So how do I get that data back out of there? Well, I just have to do the same thing that I did when I got the data. I say I need to have this, bundle, we'll call it extras. And we get the extras from that intent. And then we have to check to see if it's null. Remember, we don't want to do anything if it doesn't have anything in it. If it's not equal to null, then I want to get some values, and we'll call it notes equals extras dot get string, and we give it the key that we passed in, which was notes. And then I'm going to add in my notes to my toasted string. Then the only thing left is I have to create this variable string notes. All right, so the intent comes from this alarm here, this put extra. I get the data back using the same key, and I use that to do my toasted here. All right, so let's run that, see if that works. Okay, turn it on. Oh, we need to have something. Take your insulin. Turn it on. Alarm on. Take your insulin. And there goes wake up. Take your insulin. Beauty. So that was 5 seconds in the future from when I hit the toggle button. Actually, from when this guy actually got set, which could be many seconds later. But from this point on, it's five seconds into the future is what that does. All right, any questions on that? The top? All right, so there's all the code. Scroll through it all again so you guys can pause. All right, any questions on what we've done so far? All right, then tomorrow we will add in a date so that we need to get the date from this field, create a calendar, and set a time in the future based on this alarm date and time. And it's basically going to be the same thing, except this is going to be whatever the calendar is in milliseconds. So we're going to create a calendar clock object with all the right things that we get from this alarm date time string and just set it for some time into the future. I'm going to show you how to create a date and a time picker one after the other. That's the easiest way to do it, so that when you select a date, it automatically brings up the time, and when you select the time, it automatically sets the whole date and time in there. That's easy. That's not too hard.
All we do is just call a time picker object, and now you can call that.
Right. Exactly right. Yeah. So that's not too hard. I looked at some, there are some open source date time pickers that look really nice. The problem is, let me show you. Here's the one from Google Code. And the problem is they moved it. I don't see. This is, well, shoot, it's going to launch fireworks, which probably won't work. Yeah. So there's a nice one.
Because you can toggle between.
And you just set date, set time, back and forth, reset. The problem is that one hasn't been updated in 2 years, and I couldn't get it to work. I figure if I can't get something to work in an hour, then it's not worth it. So I stopped, because I can usually get pretty much anything to work in an hour, but that didn't work. I couldn't get that one to work. So there's a couple others that are nice. Some people have a view that you create a view that has the time, the date on the top and the time on the bottom in one view. So you can do whatever you want. I gave up on those and just went with the log one and log the other. It was just simpler to do that. So, all right, any other questions?